Welcome to Justice Matters. I'm Denise George, Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Justice Matters is a program aimed to inform, engage, and empower you with knowledge of Virgin Islands laws and legal issues that affect our everyday lives and our community, including insightful discussions with special guests so you can be empowered with knowledge in order to make a difference in our community. Today's show topic is about a little-known federally funded program in the Department of Justice Paternity and Child Support Division that is all about providing free of charge many services and programs to help increase parents' quality time and involvement in their children's lives. It is called the Access and Visitation Program. We will talk later with the administrator of the program about what great benefits this program has to parents and families in our community. But first, let's summarize our child support programs. Title 4D under the Social Security Act of 1975 is a federal law that essentially requires every state and territory to manage a child support enforcement program. To help fund these programs, the federal government provides money to each state and territory, including the Virgin Islands. The term 4D or 4D program simply refers to the federal law and the programs falling under it. Under Virgin Islands law, the child support program is managed under the Department of Justice through its Division of Paternity and Child Support. It is, for the most part, 66% federally funded, with 34% coming from local funds, and it's responsible for the administration and operation of the Virgin Islands and the Title D programs under the Child Support Division. The federal government agency that oversees the National Child Support Program is the Administration of Children and Families through its Office of Child Support Enforcement, or it's called OCSC. The OCSC partners with state and territorial child support agencies, such as with the VI Department of Justice, Paternity and Child Support Division, with the goal to encourage parental responsibility so that children receive financial, emotional, and medical support from both parents, even when they live in separate households. The Access and Visitation program we are spotlighting today is one of the special grant programs under Title 4D administered by the OSCE. Title 4D, Section 469B of the Social Security Act says that the Administration for Children and Families shall make grants under this section to enable states to establish and administer programs to support and facilitate non-custodial parents' access to and visitation of their children by means of activities including mediation, both voluntary and mandatory, counseling, education, development of parenting plans, and visitation enforcement, including monitoring, supervision, and neutral drop-off and pick-up locations, and development also of guidelines for visitation and alternative custody arrangements. The OCSC reports that nationally each year, about $10 million in mandatory grant funding goes to states and territories to operate the AV program, which is specifically geared towards parents' access to quality time with their children. As the law says, states and territories are permitted to use grant funds to develop programs and provide services such as the mediation, development of parenting plans, parent education, counseling, visitation, enforcement, and the pickup and drop-off type processes for visitation. So services funded under the grant must support the intended program outcome. The program is not limited to parents in the child support program, but is available to parents and families in the community. Joining us now is Sharon McDonald. She is the administrator of the Access and Visitation program of the Virgin Islands Department of Justice, Paternity and Child Support Division. Welcome to Justice Matters, Mrs. McDonald.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And we're talking about this very important program to the community, to parents and families in the community, the Access and Visitation program, of which you have been the administrator just for, is it a year yet?
No, it's about 6 months, six and a half months.
Okay, well, great. First of all, what is the grant amount that for the Virgin Islands that we get to administer this program?
Thank you for asking. The grant amount for the Access and Visitation program, federally funded, is $100,000.
And is that every year? Is that an annual?
Every year, annually.
Okay. And what kind of activities are the grants used for in our program?
The grant funding is used for counseling, mediation services. We do it for parent education, also for parenting plans for non-custodial and custodial parents.
Generally, the grant funding is used to carry out the purpose of the program. What is the purpose of the program and what we're accomplishing through the activities that we offer?
Well, it's to administer programs to support and facilitate non-custodial parents and custodial parents' access and visitation to their children.
Okay, now, so all of these, you mentioned mediation.
Yes.
That's offered. Now, when you talk about offering these programs, first of all, the recipients of the programs, who do they include?
They include the petitioner, which can be the custodial or the non-custodial father, and the respondent, who can also be the custodial or the non-custodial father.
And what about mothers as well?
Yes. So this could involve mothers, fathers, single, mothers, married, separated, guardians, and also legal guardians.
Does it include other parents throughout the community, or is it limited only to the persons who are within the child support system?
Absolutely not. It's for our U.S. Virgin Islands community. It's territorial, St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. And it is not limited to families who have a case with paternity and child support.
Okay, well, then you mentioned the mediation, first of all. Let's go with that service. What exactly is that? And just describe briefly what that offers.
Sure. Mediation is a confidential and voluntary and informal problem-solving process in which the neutral third party, who is a mediator, who is certified, assists the parties to reach agreements about issues in dispute, where one parent, for example, the non-custodial father, may indicate that he would like to have access to see his or her child or children.
So it's basically that mediation process just affords assistance in bringing both parents together to an agreement for the benefit of the child's visitation and access. Is that right?
Absolutely. And they come together to have an agreed visitation plan for their child or children.
And so the funding goes towards that. And also there's another activity that you mentioned, the parent education. What is that? What does that entail?
Well, the parent education also supports the non-custodial father as well as the custodial parent. Not just because we are providing the mediation services, but we want to support them. We want to help them so they can be better fathers and mothers understanding dads, and also understand the impact that the children are going through or their child is going through. Because when there's conflict between a mother and father, the child suffers emotionally. Their behavior, they suffer. They can have emotional problems. They also can have problems in school. And we have seen that through statistics and research.
So what kind of parent education, specifically parent education type programs are we talking about that we have?
Sure. The parent education programs that we have the parenting classes, which would come out of the Family Resource Center here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and then the Women Coalition, which we are collaborating with them as well. We also have the Fatherhood Initiative program headed by Mission Project with Mr. Stevens, where he has an 8, or 12-week program that we do called the Fatherhood Buzz, where the men come together and they learned different subject matters to help them to become better fathers.
And are these men in the community who just voluntarily want to be a part of
this? Oh,
this?
absolutely. In the beginning, some men become hesitant, but as they go through the classes, and as you know, we had a wonderful graduation ceremony in December. The comments from them were amazing, and they didn't even want to stop. They learned different skills of improving their relationship and with their children, and how it's important to maintain that relationship and also support financially, emotionally, physically, socially. The classes are great success. We also have we started a pilot program called the Mothers Matter. And we started off with 6 women. They too didn't want to stop. And they understand that the purpose of that is to understand dads, not just seeing that these fathers are so distant and they have their conflict between a child or between the mother, but they better understand how the role of the father is important in a child's life.
And we talk about, I guess, most of the non-custodial parents generally are the fathers, but we do have custodial fathers as well. But with respect to the Mothers Matters program and their education, how do they get information and assistance in relating with their children in going through the whole process?
Well, we know that mothers are gatekeepers. Mothers are gatekeepers to their children. But this gatekeeper behavior can also prevent or reduce fathers' access to their children. So what we do is that we provide the education to them to understand that in separating your child away from your father, it can be detrimental. They may not see it in their early stages of life, but as they get older, statistics have shown that their research about obesity, there's also situations where they have increase of dropout rates, gun violence, crime, behavioral problems, and research has shown that through the Fatherhood Initiative.
Are these programs and these workshops, so the parental education, is it limited only to the non-custodial father, or can the custodial fathers benefit from the program and the workshops that we talked about?
Well, thank you for asking, AG. That's a very good question. It does not limit to a non-custodial father. When the fathers come together, it can be a married father and a father that doesn't have any problems with their children. That happened and that showed in our last class that we had with Mr. Carlton Stevens. We had one parent who loves his child, and they were able to come together as one unit and be able to develop strengths from one another. So it does not have to be just non-custodial fathers.
Okay, and is it the same with the mothers? Like sometimes there are non-custodial mothers, so to speak, and or is it available to all? Is it a help and a benefit at all to any parent or any parent, mother or father, who wants assistance in how to help to raise their children?
Absolutely. You can be single, you can be married, you can be divorced. It does not limit you if, in fact, you are the non-custodial parent, or it is for all women that they can glean and learn because everyone has a story and one experience can help another person.
What has it been shown with respect to how access and visitation and good relationships with children, how does that relate to child support and supporting children? Is there a connection between, better visitation, better involvement with the children and support?
Absolutely. And that's what the funding is for. The funding helps for co-parenting, for parents to have access with their children. And that these programs that we offer to establish that understanding and communication for parents to have access to their children and to spend quality time with them. Because we want parents to see through the eyes of their children, and how it is it's very enlightening to understand what children are going through and what their behaviors are.
How do we partner with other agencies, particularly with respect to counseling?
Sure. We have grantees, and one of our grantees, for example, is the Family Resource Center. They provide counseling as well as trans interpretation for the French community, the Haitian community, the Hispanic. And they provide parenting classes in addition to the counseling services. We also have Beautiful Beginning, who also provide, and then we also will be collaborating with the Women Coalition in St. Croix.
So is this how, as a part of the funding and how the funding is used? It's used on the one hand for grantees, which are the persons who get, not persons, but organizations who get grants that we partner with, right, to provide the services. And then we have also the programs provided for free of charge for recipients who are the parents.
Yes.
So that's how it works.
Yes. And so that we all understand, these services are free services. The clients do not have to pay. They get free services. And the counseling is a support. It's not a bad connotation when you hear the word counseling. People sometimes pull back. But with the pandemic and all that is going through, that most of us have gone through, we are getting some parents who indicate that, yes, I would love to have counseling. And they would say, my son or my daughter would like counseling. I would like to go with my child or my children. I had one mother called and they said that we've gone through so much. And yes, we would like to have family counseling. So it can be individual for the child, it can be individual for the parent, and also it can be a family counseling session, services that are free.
Okay, that's excellent. And what kind of activities? Sometimes do plan activities also to bring about the purpose and the mission of getting kids together with parents. What kinds of activities would you say just that we've had so far?
Sure. Well, we've had as you know, we had the Father Buzz program.
Yes.
We also had the Mothers Matter program, which was a pilot, and we're getting ready to do that again this year.
Excellent.
We did the backpack for the students in reference to the special education.
Okay, so did you partner with the Department of Education?
Yes,
did we do that?
Partnered with Department of Education. And all of these initiatives that we're doing is for access to their children, through visitation, about parenting time, spending quality time with their children. The other thing that we did was very creative, was for Valentine's. And we call it the Valentine's Scoop with the family. And that was really, really nice. We took the initiative of what Valentine's emphasized, which was love. And we had a success. We did it territorial. We had in St. John, the market. And then we also had here in St. Thomas, we had Sammy's Delight. And then we had the Shelley Bryn, where down in Crown Bay. And then in St. Croix, we had Armstrong ice cream. They were so excited.
So what was this? This was like you partnered with ice cream places that sell ice cream?
Places. And we
and what was
also
the
had
idea?
Sobertier ice cream as well.
Okay.
And they were all thrilled. The parents, we tapped into the schools as well as the community. We went on the radio. We were invited on the radio. And as a result, we had over 250 families that participated.
So how did it really work then?
Well, what we did is that first, we went on the radio, it was on the radio. We reached out to the schools, and also we reached out to our clients, and we had an announcement. And we did the first 50 for each ice cream.
Oh, so for Valentine's Day, you're saying that they came out to have the first 50 families to come out and have ice cream with these ice cream.
Yes,
ice cream vendors with their parents. Okay.
Yes, and they came out with their fathers or mothers, and the ones that I had gone to, it was just so amazing to see mothers and fathers bringing their children. And they had toddlers, they had adolescents, they even had young adults that came out as a family unit.
Right.
And they said, "Thank you for this, because we've been so busy, but this is a time of expression to say, I love you." And that was the essence of it, of expressing and taking some time out with your family to express your appreciation and love to your children. And it was a great, great success.
And so wonderful. What did you say about how many?
We had 257.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We had 257 individuals, which include the families that participated, and they're waiting for another event such like that to happen again.
Okay,
Yes.
great. What kind of initiatives are being planned right now for the future? Or are there any?
Well, we're looking at, although, as you know, the pandemic, our numbers here are high, and we're being very, very creative in how we can still reach out to our mothers and fathers. And so we are planning an initiative for Father's Day. And we have something in mind. So we're going to release that to the community. And we really want to be able to fathers taking some time, to be recognized in addition to spending quality time with their children. The other thing is that for mothers, we're in the month of May. Mother's Day is every day. It is not just once a year. So we are also planning to do an initiative this month for them. And we're going to announce that very soon so that the mothers can participate on that.
That's great. And I know something's coming up for Father's Day too, because Father's Day is also every day.
Yes.
We always say that Paternity and Child Support. Father's Day and Mother's Day. It's every day, really. But it's good when something special is there for both parents, recognizing the importance of both. Also the saying that we have in our little logos for Paternity and Child Support Division is children first.
Absolutely.
And that's the whole point.
Absolutely.
In looking at these programs and everything and the activities that we're offering, how is it that the persons in the community can get involved? First of all, the grantees or people who have a program that fits within this to help, to fit within the purpose. How would they apply to be a grantee?
Well, thank you again for asking. They can, we receive and they can get an application called the Access and Visitation form for if in fact they would like access to their children. We also, they can contact our office, our St. Thomas office, Paternity and Child Support Office, and also our office in St. Croix.
Okay, now how is that with respect to the person, the recipients, parents, family members, people who are caretakers of children who might want to be a part of the education programs or even the counseling programs? How do they get involved in that?
Sure. We want them to contact us. Okay. They can contact us by phone. We have by email as well. and that is by both offices. We would love for them to contact them. After our Valentine's program, the numbers have increased. Mm-hmm. There has been an awareness. Mm-hmm. People are sharing their experiences. It has been positive. And we have been getting quite a few inquiries about the program. Mm-hmm. So we would like the public to contact us, and we would be happy to share more detailed information with them.
And then within the paternity and child support, since, the focus is also on the non-custodial parents getting that access to visitation, they are made aware throughout the process who are in our office and getting services and
correct
activities already.
So parents who, for example, may have a child support, may have spoken with their caseworker, and they may have an interest or mm-hmm. they inquire, mm-hmm. how can I have visitation with my child mm-hmm. or children? And from there, they then fill out an application through our Access Visitation Mediation form. We contact them, we explain to them the details, how they go about the process. And then from there, our administrative hearing officer, the application is forwarded to them. It becomes an order for requesting mediation. And then from there, we forward that. We contact all parties, including the mediator, to schedule a date that is conducive for all parties. Mm-hmm. I would like to thank our Access Visitation team for doing an amazing job in how we reach out to our clients in the territory.
Thank you so very much for being on Justice Matters today and continuing with our program at the Department of Justice, Paternity and Child Support. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Remember the numbers to call if you're a grantee or you would like to be a grantee in this program and provide services, as well as whether or not you'd like to be a participant in the program and receive these benefits. Numbers to call are for St. Thomas, 340-775-3070. And that is also, there's an email address, email at viaccess@vi.gov. St. Croix, the number is 340-778-5958. And you'll be able to contact or speak with Mrs. McDonald or the Access and Visitation coordinators within the staff of the Access and Visitation program at the Department of Justice. So stay tuned for the next Justice Matters, which is going to be part 2, because we're going to focus on the fatherhood or the father's parental education program and the mother's matters that we talked about today. So don't miss it. Thank you again for joining us on this Justice Matters.